Leto. We take a short break to venture into a short quickfire interview. Now, only 1 out of every 6 youth in Kenya are formally employed as we speak today. Several initiatives have, however, been taken to put in place lasting solutions to this menace. And this includes the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, the Uwezo Fund, and many other opportunities where the youth can find formal or informal engagement. But still, about 17.1% of the youth in the country remain unemployed or without any means of qualified livelihood, as far as the United Nations is concerned, in a survey that they conducted sometime in the last quarter of 2017. The situation is clearly a threat to the country's development agenda, together with the latest being President Uhuru Kenyatta's second term 4 pillars of leadership, including manufacturing, housing, affordable healthcare, and food security. To help us break down on exactly what is the future of the youth in this country, the youth who compose about 70% of the population, is the chairman of the Youth Enterprise Development Fund, Mr. Ronnie Osumba. Ronnie, good morning.
Morning.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Chelsea.
Are we seeing anything better for the youth? So many initiatives, the numbers keep rising.
I think the position to have today is that the youth situation today is better than it was yesterday. That the number of initiatives being put in place, affirmative action initiatives to raise the lot of young people in Kenya today, is more than was 5-10 years ago. The rate of unemployment is reducing. If you remember, only maybe 10 years ago, we were at about 12% unemployment. Within 5 years, that rose up to about 40%. Today, it's at 38%. So we've stopped digging the hole. Let me put it that way. The initiatives that are being pulled together to take care of healthcare, for example, for young people, are evident to all of us. Now the president is focusing on universal healthcare. So, for example, now we've just gone live with the Linda Mama initiative, which is a free healthcare service for all maternal care for young women, which has been a problem, of course. We have seen problem with, within security, for example. Radicalization was a big problem for this country 5 years ago. That has slowed down. So I think has
it really slowed down, or is just changed face? Because lately we are seeing so many cases of border riders, majority of who are youth, now totally radicalized, burning down buses, burning down property, wanton destruction of lives and property.
I think we must be able to distinguish between the natural state of security for the country and the heightened political tensions that there were last year. So obviously last year, because of the political tension, because of political competition, there was a bit of, mobilization of young people to cause destruction or build tension in various parts of the country. I think absent of that political competition, generally, the state of young people being radicalized, particularly into issues of terrorism, has slowed down. Now we are seeing the government refocusing on technical and vocational training. So, for example, if you look at the program that has been launched, again, I think maybe 2 months ago.
The Kenya Youth Employment Opportunity Program.
That, again, is a program that is going to help a lot of young people build business skills and technical skills. We need to then appreciate that private sector also needs to play its space.
Some quarters are saying before this kind of program was introduced, there was need to have changed the attitude and perception of the youth. Most of these informal skills are associated with people who didn't succeed in school.
Correct.
It comes from back when we were growing up. You used to be told by parents, if you play around with school, utapigia watu randa, utalimia watu shamba.
Correct.
Maybe some people feel you should have started by changing the perception so that it's embraced.
Absolutely. I think we need to shift the narrative that to be successful, you don't have to be a doctor, because we all cannot be doctors. You don't have to be an engineer, because we all cannot be engineers. But there are, in fact, today, the market is absorbing people who have technical skills. So we need more plumbers, because today you will struggle to find a good plumber.
You don't get them. They're not there.
SGR, when we were building SGR, we were struggling to get good riveters.
So is it true they were brought from China?
Well,
sorry for another day.
Sorry for another day. I think the good thing about SGR is that we have had skills transfer. So today, we have thousands of young people, and I'm sure you have seen, a lot of documentaries showing even young ladies who today have had opportunity to exercise their engineering skills on SGR.
Are you satisfied with the rate of transition? You say we moved from 40% to 38%, and yet the population of the youth is increasing at a higher rate than
I completely agree.
Which means the deeper we dig the hole,
so my point
the
was
more we bury ourselves.
The point was we've stopped digging. Now, how do we fill the hole quicker? I think that's the question you're asking. In the President's inauguration speech, and in his Jamhuri Day speech, he has made it clear that we are not going to leave behind anyone. And the focus in driving his economic agenda is on youth employment. Okay, so if you look at all the 4 pillars, whether we're talking about manufacturing and expanding the manufacturing space, we're now talking about, we need to encourage the private sector, for example, to say, how do you expand the manufacturing space? How do we hold the hands of young investors? And there are a lot of young people with a lot of brilliant opportunities. How do we hold their hands, whatever they might be? Cascading or devolving manufacturing to the counties. So if we are adding value, for example, to maize, flour mills, how do we do that in every county, wherever that maize is found? So it's about cascading these initiatives in manufacturing. If we are talking about agro-processing and agriculture, again, how do we build the skills of young people? Because today there are a lot of young people, by the way, who are in farming. So if you look at Youth Fund, for example, 25% of our portfolio is to young farmers. But these young farmers struggle to get into market, again, because of the complexities of the produce space.
Pesa kwa kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa wazee. Apparently, the fund that you chair, Youth Enterprise Development Fund, has been accused of having so many red tapes that discourage the youth. What have you done to ensure that this is smoothened?
Unfortunately, that has been our history, and it is a history we have had to deal with. That the process of, and not just Youth Fund, it's really all the affirmative action funds, Wezo Fund, GAF, Women Fund. The process of accessing has been a mystery. So a lot of people don't know where to access or what the requirements are. But if you look again at what we've been able to achieve in the last 15 or so months, right, since I joined Youth Fund, the transformation has been tremendous. So when we joined in June 2016, we were lending about 20 million a month. Because we've been able to re-engineer the product, re-engineer the process, digitize the process, we've been able to remove a lot of those stumbling blocks. So today, I have a good problem. We are lending about 100 million a month, up from 20 million.
Is it across the country or to particular areas where the youth have reshaped their mindset?
Across the country. We, however, have one problem, which again, I think you alluded to earlier, that a lot of young people, and I don't know whether it is an attitude issue or whether it is a communication issue. A lot of young people expect that this money will get to them. So they don't go seeking for the funds.
No, it's a perception of quick money. It's called popcorn money. I don't want to struggle, but I want it.
So we've moved from microwave to popcorn?
Yes. I don't want to struggle, but I want the money as quick as possible.
However, we're putting...
So if I come to your office twice or thrice and you keep telling me, bring this document, bring that document, I won't come back.
Exactly.
I would rather go and ride boda, or maybe follow a politician who gives me quick popcorn money.
Which is unfortunate, because young people need to appreciate that success and prosperity is built on the back of hard work. And when you are seeking, you will find.
How possible is that to make young people believe that, and yet they see a Ronnie Osumba, a Charles Odhiambo, who didn't work hard, who sleeps up to 10, but drives an SUV, lives in posh hotels, and lives a very sweet life?
I keep telling young people, when you see Charles driving that Mercedes, he was not born in that Mercedes. There's a story behind the success. Try and find what that story was, learn from it, and build your own path.
Do you think the society has failed the youth?
I think we have failed to build the right narrative for the youth. So, Society has a role in shaping the perceptions and the ambitions of young people, but young people must also stretch and reach out for those things that they desire or want in life. We are putting together a program in the appreciation of this challenge that we have in society for what we are calling hard to reach youth. And hard to reach youth here is in different components. You have those who are just in extremely remote places. And then you are those who are in places where they have built a narrative that the system's here too. It doesn't work for us. So
we'll wait until our system comes in.
We'll wait until our system comes in. So if you go to a place like Kibra, where I was born and brought up, you will find a lot of young people who are stuck in Kibra, not because the system does not work for them, but because they've been made to believe that the system is not for Kibra people. So we are working now, a multi-agency task force that we've put together to reach out to young people, whether they're in Kibra, whether they're in Wajir, whether they're in Lamu.
Do you have a time frame for this initiative?
Well, we were supposed to launch it in December, but obviously because of the transition of government today, we have that challenge. Government is also reorganizing itself around the Big Four, because that's the priority to drive growth and development. So we are reorganizing, so hopefully in another few weeks. But all, that aside, there are a lot of other good initiatives going on. KEOP is one, and it's a 15 billion project.
Supported by the World Bank.
Supported by the World
and
Bank.
which, according to our empirical research, has not reached as many youth as it should have reached. The information was rather tight.
Again, we have a challenge, and this is what I keep telling even my colleagues in government. Young people are not watching this show.
And young people are not reading newspapers.
They're not reading newspapers, they're not listening to radio. They're on WhatsApp, they're on Facebook, they're on Twitter. That's where we need to catch them. We need to adjust the way we communicate and reach out to young people. Young people will not listen to you because you are in a tie.
No, they will not.
They listen to me because I'm not in a tie.
Or maybe if I have ragged hair, they will listen to me more.
And the beard.
Because I appeal to.
Because you appeal to them, you look like them, they believe you. Okay? There's a research that was done by Aga Khan last year, but 2016. 70% of young people will listen to their peers. They don't trust you, they don't trust me, they don't trust the president, they don't trust the government, they don't trust anybody, but they trust themselves. Now, how do we then use that peer mechanism to communicate? We need to get more ambassadors who understand this conversation we're talking about, and then have them disseminate that information to
ones who already have a change of,
and particularly those who have experienced it and see that it works. So KEOP is a brilliant opportunity, and I will ask actually all young people who are watching and listening, and anybody who has access to young people, to tell them to look out for KEOP, because it's going to be
actually the pilot ends today. The applications for the pilot opportunities end
phase one.
In phase one. That's
it's a 4-year program.
5 counties, including Kwale, Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru, and Kisumu.
Correct.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Finally, what's the future for the youth in this country?
I think the future is bright. Now, the youth are the most hopeful people I have met in my work in government, and they have brilliant ideas. We need to invest in them. There is now an opportunity for the country, and even for all policymakers, to embrace what we normally say, and I had you quoting there some numbers about how big the large the youthful population is. It's a blessing. It's not a challenge, it's not a problem. It's a blessing. And if we take opportunity of these numbers that we have, then we will begin to reap from the demographic dividend. The Asian tigers were built on the back of this kind of opportunity we are seeing today. So I think the opportunity is there, the ideas are there, innovation is happening in Kenya today like it has not happened before. We have a higher population that is more literate, so let's take advantage of it.
Mindset, change of mindset. That is all we need.
It's a change of mindset.
Ronnie Osumba, thank you very much. Have a pleasant day. And to the youth out there, the opportunities are there for you. The Kenya Youth Employment Opportunity Program closes its doors in the first phase of the pilot program that has been going on in 5 counties: Kisumu, Mombasa, Nakuru, Nairobi, and Kwale. Rush there and do your application. I'm told they are training people in 32 different skills. The training program is between 2 months to 6 months.
6 months.
And I'm actually told they're even having trainings on life skills. You know, this day is the biggest challenge. Sorry to bring you back. Somebody has the papers, but they don't know how to go apply for a job.
Actually, let me tell you, I was speaking to Kenya's largest search engine, what are they called? Anyway, search engine for jobs. And they were saying in any 1 year, they have a 70% gap between skills and jobs. So it's not that the jobs are not there.
The jobs are there.
It's the skills are not there.
Thank you very much. Now, we'll be taking a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be looking at what's in the papers with Dr. Sam Kamau, and of course, we expect Makueni Member of Parliament Dan Maanzo. My name is Charles Odhiambo. Power Breakfast continues. Thank you very much, Ronnie.
Asante.